Hey everybody. A lot of you may know me as Somi Blade, but today, actually a lot lately, I'm just trying to be me. Samketh I wish I could tell you what that name means, what that name stands for. I don't even know right now. I honestly don't. But I wanted to just take a few moments and be vulnerable, emotional, kind of introspective. This is something only two people ever in my life have actually seen this side of me. They are my best friend, who we're working through some things. Mainly, I need to work on myself and change for the better personally. Got a lot of issues. Hopefully, she sees that and we can finally be best friends again one day and work things out with each other. And the only other person I've seen, somebody I can be very confident in, and who's always just been a solid rock for me, the woman who's given me the gift of this life, my mother. So why am I getting all deeply emotional and introspective? One, I'm naturally an emotional person. That's just who I am. I mean, I have for the love of my life. That kind of tells you a bit about me. I figuratively and literally wear my heart on my sleeves. And that's just how I am as a person. I never really was like this all the time. It wasn't until my formative adult years, so like 17, 18 years old, that I finally started really discovering this part about myself. And that I tend to keep a lot of things bottled up. And I have a hard time talking about it. So for me to talk about it's very difficult. I'm a perfectionist by nature. That's why I tend to do a lot of things over and over and over repetitively again. Just because I feel like I could keep on improving that much more. So, in a way, bowling has become the perfect sport for me because a perfect game is 300, and there is no such thing as a perfect game to me, because a perfect game to me means that you hit the same exact target with no difference whatsoever. So say your target, I'm using arbitrary round numbers here for the sake of argument's sake, to keep it simple and easy. Let's say your target is the 10th board, the second arrow. That means you hit the 10th board with the same ball speed, the same rev rate, the same axis rotation, the same amount of axis tilt, and the same degree of entry angle into the pocket, and carried the same way 12 shots in a row. That is impossible, even with a machine. A machine cannot do it. It has been tried. But I think the highest the machine has ever shot is like an 860 something. And that's with like a bowler using his or her specs and adjusting accordingly. So still, no such thing as a perfect game. Have to adjust accordingly. So yeah, that's why I'm a perfectionist by nature, and I always feel like I need to work that much harder than everybody, and I hate being called lazy. I'll personally call myself lazy, but that's just because I see myself slacking or feel like I'm not putting in that effort. And that's perfectly fine by me, but the fact that it's one of those like perception is reality, and unfortunately, I can't. I feel like if I slack for 5 minutes, people are going to see that 5 minutes of slacking, and that doesn't make up for the other 24 hours and 23 hours and 55 minutes of the day that I could have been working or doing something productive, unfortunately. So I always feel like I have to work that much harder. I always feel like I have to prove something to everybody, that I always have to be perfect. I always have to give my best, and that I feel like my best just isn't good enough. I just don't. I feel like I'm not good enough. And I've always had to work so hard. And the thing is, it's one of those, like, both my friend and my mother have told me nobody's perfect. It is not our job to reassure you that you are fine and that you're doing well. Honestly, I don't know where this lack of faith in myself comes from, and I don't know where I lost the belief in myself. And I'm sorry to get all choked up and teary eyed because this is a very emotional subject for me to discuss. It's the hardest thing for me is accepting that I don't have to be perfect, that it's okay to try to just be me, enjoy my life, and figure it out and do what I love to do. But at the end of the rainbow, and I hate that cliche. For a guy who's as cheesy as I am, I hate freaking cliches. And you're talking to a guy who calls him and his best friend mac and cheese. Her name's Mackenzie. I'm cheese. There, figured that one out. There. Easy to figure out. It's just so difficult for me to feel like I have to be perfect all the time, that I have to always be giving more than what is expected of me. And people who set expectations so high for me, I set higher expectations than them. I am my own worst critic. And no matter how good of a job that I do in other people's eyes, I always feel like I'm a failure. I do. It's just no one other than myself can measure up to the expectations that I set. And the expectations I set are nothing less than perfect. But Samgith, you cannot achieve perfection. There is no such thing as achieving perfection. Yeah, I know that that's true. But it's what just keeps me alive. It's what keeps me motivated. It's what keeps me going. And I wish I could believe that now, but it's just. I don't know what to believe anymore. I have tried my very best to do what is right to other people, to my friends, my family. But I don't even know what's right anymore. I really don't. In all honesty, maybe life is just a dream. Maybe in some weird world we created this, the world that we live in our heads, the people that we encounter, is it a chance meeting, but a choice meeting, and we chose to have those people in our lives because it's in a way trying to get us to reflect about what do we hate about ourselves that we need to change, and how do we improve those things. I don't know. It's I don't know if this feeling in my head and my emotions will ever go away. The feeling that I don't feel like I'm good enough, and I feel like I'm never going to be good enough. I'm never going to be a good enough son, a good enough brother, a good enough employee, a good enough friend, a good enough lover. Whoever sees this video, that last sentence, you know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about you. If you think it's about you, I am talking about you Hopefully one day we will see each other again. I do apologize for everything. Let's sit down and talk over dinner. I don't know anymore. All I know is it's at the end of the year. I've had a lot of ups. I've had a lot of downs. What I'm looking forward to in 2020, I'm going to start training in Muay Thai. And I'm going to get into the fight game. And I'm hoping to have a couple of fights. If you want to follow that, then go ahead. You can follow me at SomiBlade. That's it. Fighting out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, weighing in at 155 pounds, the reigning, defending, undisputed lightweight champion of the world, Somi the Blade Fataphone. Bank on that.